It looks so fucking, like, so cursed in that fucking image. Thank you for that, Wardock. Ignore Raiden Shogun as my background. That's not what my background is, I assure you. Definitely not. So, alright. Because it's still prepping the ad, we're going to get started on the Cost of Concordia Q&A from Incognito Mode. Yes, this is, if you're on the React channel, welcome! This has been craziness between last stream and this stream. What is EU Ohio? I don't think the EU wants Ohio, from what I understand. That's really fucking neat, actually. I like that shit like that exists. Well, for context, we were talking about Sealand and how that exists and how I've never fucking heard of this. So, that's neat. I'm ready.
As ever, right on schedule.
If it's cheap, I'll buy it.
Q&A.
I'll do it.
For the structure of the video, we originally had a bunch of different title cards. But as we made the video, it didn't flow properly and it kind of ruined the rhythm of everything.
Right.
So we're going to repurpose them here and show you a bunch of other cut assets too. Number one. The old intro.
Oh.
Right. We initially
It's the contact map!
a completely different intro for this video. It started out actually as like a mission brief for a Metal Gear Solid level.
Oh my god, someone's gonna fucking slap me in fucking chat because I said Call of Duty. I have not played Metal Gear Solid, so if this was Metal Gear Solid intro, I recognize that from like Modern Warfare 2 campaign briefing. Someone's gonna slap the shit out of me. I can feel you talking, getting ready to fucking Gura slap me. I can feel it.
We crafted a ton of assets for it as well, and the idea was, alright, Snake is going to be sneaking on board the ship, and he may even help cause the disaster, or was watching it unfold.
Weird.
And we'd use a bunch of stuff from the
Please refrain from using the triggered word. 2. I reserve it for its medical context
it felt
only.
way too shoehorned in, so we ditched it. But here's some of that.
As they leave port in Rome, you'll infiltrate the ship.
I need to play this. I need to play Metal Gear Solid. It's so good, I hear. Not trying to call you, I'm just make sure I relay it. I reserve for the medical terminology only.
We use a lot of text-to-speech because it actually saves having to record, re-record, then cut down the audio, recut the audio, put new stuff in. So it's way easier just to do text-to-speech for a lot of this stuff. And then only when things are finalized and we need the timings, we do the real VO.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get the idea. With proper timings, maybe it could have worked, because it gave us an excuse to explain it and keep the high energy there. But then it started to fall apart, and the scope started blooming, where I was trying to turn Sir Morton into Olga.
I didn't have my dad playing Halo. I still might convert him. He's been interested in PC gaming. I might convince him to play Halo.
Okay, but this whole thing needs a revamp. So
I could see how this would flow properly.
Was working on the outro scene, which was Titanic themed, and I sort of had a chat with historian. Okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? And then we decided, look, let's just make the whole thing Titanic themed, and then all the rest just fell into place.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Engineering failures.
Right.
This is where things are going to get a little technical, but hopefully you guys like that stuff. So, the ship has these 6 massive diesel generators, and they produce electricity that's distributed all across the ship.
Right.
And they're kept across 2 watertight compartments, and they're consecutive to each other here on the ship. The power goes from these 6 to a main distribution channel,
Titanic theme was definitely a good call.
Which is then routed all over the ship where it's needed, and then a lot of that electricity is taken to these 2 electric motors, which then produce propulsion for the ship.
Right,
there are also 3 separate motors at the back, which drive the rudder. Cool. Let's play out an emergency scenario.
Okay.
So your generators go down.
Yeah.
What should happen is that the emergency power supply kicks on, which is powered by an emergency diesel generator.
Right.
This thing is way smaller than these 6 big lamps.
Right, it's just emergency.
Right? It'll give you lighting, it'll give you comms, it'll give you crucial stuff. But you're not driving the ship with this thing. There's not enough power for that. When this emergency diesel generator kicks on, it also goes through an emergency power distribution panel. That's all good, it makes sense. You need this stuff to be on a completely separate circuit. Okay. There's also backup to the emergency as well. So if the emergency power supply fails, then there's a secondary system that runs solely on batteries, but that's even more limited. So it gives you some emergency lights and the comms,
2 layers of security.
and not much more than that. There's a couple of other tertiary systems as well for like the VDR and the radio. But we're not going to get into that.
That's fair.
That's the design, and let's get into what went wrong. When the ship crashed, water quickly flooded into 3 compartments.
Right?
Two of those compartments housed the 6 big generators.
Right, so that's your
fucked. And the third housed the main electrical panel. This is a worst...
Like, I'm sure there's a reason they do this for, like, balancing and shit, because you think this is heavy fucking industrial equipment. Like, I'm assuming they have to do it, because, like, obviously you could be, like, I could see some random being, like, right? Like, I have to get back to the...
That's the design, 3 compartments.
Right, so we're going to the compartments, right? So if you look at, this is the entirety of the ship, right? We can see that this is, like, the back half of the ship, right? And you have, you know, the distribution, like, so someone could be like, well, why do you have it in 6? And why don't you have 7 in, like, spot 10, right? I'm sure there's very valid construction reasons for this. You know, I'm not a specialist in this fucking... We get buoyancy issues, right? And, you know, there's a lot that goes into designing these that I'm not the specialist for. So I just debunking as far as, well, why didn't they just do that? I'm sure there's definitely very, like, relevant reasons. Ships are fucking heavy. They're just, like, incredibly massive and heavy fucking things. Right, yeah, these have to be placed in specific places on purpose in order to get the efficiency you're going to need on that.
2 of those compartments housed the 6 big generators. Right. And then the third housed the main electrical panel. This is a worst-case scenario.
Right.
So, as designed...
They idiot-proof the situation, but they can't idiot-proof the idiots. Like, this is a system that's made to have your backup systems in case something does go wrong, but you can't idiot-proof idiots, is really what it comes down to.
Emergency distribution panel kicks on, and it disconnected itself from the main panel to prevent damage.
Okay.
However, the damage was so extensive that it caused a circuit break between the emergency diesel generator and the emergency distribution panel.
Right.
So the system detects this, and it goes straight to the secondary backup. Right?
Yeah,
and it's essentially running off
do.
batteries. There's a lot of this scene that we had to cut out, but the engineers essentially are the real heroes of the story.
Right,
They were
absolutely.
constantly turning the emergency diesel generator on and off manually to bypass this circuit break. However,
Legends.
Another problem. The emergency diesel generator's fan cooling system is damaged as well. So when it's turned on, it overheats. And without a proper heat exchange, the temperature just goes up and up and up to dangerous levels.
Right.
It goes to 100 degrees, the boiling point of water, and at that point
Try
you simply
playing Crisis
turn it
2
off,
in
otherwise
fucking
the whole
summer.
thing's going to break
Same
entirely
concept.
or catch fire, worse. Right. So the engineers have to turn it on manually to bypass the circuit break, and they're doing it with a screwdriver while they're being surrounded by water.
Yep.
And they have to do it until the thing overheats, and then as soon as it overheats, they got to turn it back off. Or sometimes it'll turn itself back off. But you can force it to stay on with it, by shoving a rag in there and
right,
not letting the
makes
screw
sense.
turn back the other way, which is eventually what
These
you want
engineers are really
so,
the MVPs.
I'll show some footage here and see all these white lights.
That's also some, like, that's some fucking military shit. I don't know if you know what fucking mortaring is. So if you have a round stuck in the fucking chamber, mortaring is effectively you take it, you hold the firearm, right? And you just bash the stock against whatever is fucking, like, you know, sturdy, right? Like a pillar, like a fucking cinder block, whatever, right? You're trying to mortar the round out of it. I've had to do this approximately once. Like, this is some military shit to, like, fucking turn this back on. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the bits. I hope that the fucking notification proc properly. There we go. Oh, I thought I had a custom thing for it. But thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, like, that is some military fucking great shit. Because, oh my god. Like, I would imagine someone on, like, a submarine somewhere was doing this, right? Like, look, if this gets depressurized, we're fucked. And to do this effectively, right? To do this, they have to be, like, top tier. Like, they have to know how their shit fucking works. Like, you have to know how the system works to break the system a little bit to get to the direction you're wanting, right? Like, this is nothing short of legendary from these engineers.
That is all thanks to the engineers downstairs risking life and limb.
Right.
If they don't have the emergency diesel generators running, then it's just emergency lights. It's like those, those little red lights, and you can't see a whole lot.
No.
Now, you might think that, okay, if only we can get this EDG working, and if only we could limit the amount of water that's coming in, then surely there are like emergency water pumps on board that they can use to save the ship.
If they're operational.
But unfortunately
probably not.
And this is where you start to get into really bad design. These pumps are massive, and they require at least 3 of the 6 big engines.
It's because there's no power, the water pumps can't fucking work. Like, it's not gonna fucking work in on the emergency power. It just doesn't have the power to do that. It's rifle that 1,000 ammo gram, but did some research and was it finished? Most of the Gaunt. To be fair, I've heard most of the Gaunts are really fucking great. They're way more expensive than they used to be, though.
In order to work. So they're effectively ruled out at the point of impact.
Right, no, you can't.
So it's just not an option. Anyway, the engineers stayed down there as long as they could.
And so here's the thing, right? People could come with a counter argument, right? Well, why don't you just do this? Okay, then the diesel generator has to be larger, and then if the diesel generator has to be larger, then how do we counteract the buoyancy issues at that point? Because this is designed for this specific setup. So if we increase size of one thing, then we either have to increase size of another thing, or we have to redistribute things. Then you lose out on features. You might lose the fucking casino hall because you need more fucking engine space. Like, they're designed for a reason, and you can't truly idiot-proof all of these situations. These systems are functioning as designed. They shouldn't have hit a fucking rock to begin with. Let's put it that way. Should have probably been split up at least with a... Right, and I'm not a... I don't know blueprints on ships. I don't know blueprints on subs. I'm not the specialist in that field. You'd have to ask someone way more qualified than me, unfortunately. You could potentially see about, like, if it was 1 in 9, you could have 1 in, like, 12. That way you have it, like... So if this is, like, the first one... Or so if this whole screen is the size of the ship, right? This was right here, engine block 1. Oh, you can't see my mouse, fuck. The valve on the left is the engine block 1. The dude's face is engine block 2. You could try to spread them out at that point, but you risk, like... you were spreading your staff too thin. You risk, well, what if one issue happens and the cascade fails? What do you mean, bonk? Damn straight I fucking am.
Turning the EDG on and off, meter deep in water
right.
before finding
no, it'd be a terrifying job to do.
The swing. Bonk. I want to take a second crack at explaining this one because I think we might have rushed it. So, you're coming in at this angle.
Right.
And you're actually going to miss the rocks with the bow of the ship.
But what about the rear?
But because the ship is so long, the side is going to smack right into the ship. Like, the back of the ship does not have the same sharp angle of turn, right? So Schettino was right in knowing that the ship should middle the rudder to prevent the swinging of the ship.
So you're recorrecting.
He ordered the rudder to middle as well. But then the helmsman, he misunderstood the order or panicked, wrecked it on his own, didn't understand Italian very well or English very well, and he just kept going, well, I'll turn away from the rock.
It is physics.
Of course, I want to get away from the rock as far as possible.
Because if you correct further right, like this is showing it exactly. If say you're on a course like this, so say that this is perpendicular, right? So just take the ship and turn it perpendicular so that way the center meets, right? And you turn right like this. Yes, you're gonna have corrected to the fucking right. However, the rear of the ship is lagging behind, so therefore it will slam into the rock. So therefore, not overcorrecting as hard or recorrecting, you could potentially bring this on back. It is physics. It's above my pay grade to fucking diagnose. This is valid, though. I can vouch that from what I understand. Yes, this does make sense. It's just miscommunications on the fucking bridge.
Possible. And so that's what caused the side of the ship to collide. And then the rest is as you know it.
Right, yeah. Fucking anglerfish.
The media got a ton of stuff wrong. Holy shit.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of it was just rampant speculation, especially as the news was unfolding. The worst culprits were, of course, the mainstream press. They've gone through mostly now and scrubbed their old articles of the mistakes, but there's a lot of stuff that you can't edit, especially video.
Now we only have 5 confirmed deaths, and now that 29 missing is now down to 24.
Actually, we have,
thank you.
I think 11 confirmed
11
deaths.
confirmed deaths.
Right,
So
they shouldn't have been going that fast to
find
begin
it.
with.
There's a
There's
clip
definitely
where he
more
talks
operator
about
error
the
in that.
boat using its forward thrusters totally wrong.
Apparently with some idea of getting to a port or doing something else. Instead, they move on for some distance and begin to turn.
They made no such turn. It didn't do this at all.
So this is why I'm really scared to do like news updates and shit, because there is a shit. Donkey actually goes over it himself in one of his news videos, where there's this shitty fucking rat race to be the first to get all the clicks and all the fucking media attention. 100% happens, right? So, for example, let's go back to, as was discussed yesterday with the Mystic Mind meme, right? The fucking round 12 at this point of trying to elect a Speaker of the House, right? Just speaking apolitically, it's taken 12 fucking rounds to get this done, right? On the same page, cool, right? So, if I wanted to, say, do a piece on this, or say, for example, round 13 had broken, still nothing had happened, right? And I wanted to, say, report on this, right? I personally, as a brand, would want to make sure I do everything right. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything possible to give the correct information, because misinformation is a very, very fucking scary and powerful tool, and I don't like it. Other people aren't like this. They're going to go with this, right? And be like, oh yeah, so we have this in spec, and we want to have this 3D model and presentation to show, and this is how we're going to explain it. And they have it completely the fuck off wrong. I hope I'm doing better with my brand at this point. What's all about? It's news to me. Oh, Kiwi, you're in for a fucking treat. Play World of Warships, there's... Right, and very well, it could be. I mean, what sounded like they were trying to correct from an already devastating and, like, catastrophic situation. They were trying to correct something to potentially not necessarily avoid it, but like minimize it or mitigate the impact to a degree from current events outside of my immediate bubble. Honestly, I just follow it because of Mystic Mind meme at this point. Like, it's just really fucking weird. But yeah, no, like, as a brand, I want to do what I can to try and avoid misinformation, so I don't like doing news updates. I don't like... because this exists. And then you have to go back and you already look like a fucking dumbass. How about you just report it right the first time? Like, you made a 3D presentation and somehow got all of this fucking wrong.
It goes all the way over here and then comes back.
Right.
Number 2, they fell for the Hungarian meme.
A young Hungarian woman who says she was on board.
What?
She called her parents saying that she was on board during this disaster.
Didn't happen. Number 3, it was an ecological time bomb, fellas.
Ecological time bomb if they don't get that fuel off.
But it wasn't. This was all hype. There was a very low chance of that. There was no big oil spill. There was no damage to the environment.
What was the relation to this and the Gulf of Mexico oil spill? BP, right? What was the time frame that this was done? Because that might actually have enough of a buzz, have enough of an impact that would bias the media in that way.
Environment. In fact, the environment was better off after the sinking had happened and they had done all the cleanup. Fish stocks were up, you name it. Everything was better on all metrics. You know, you can see the, can you believe it, the whoa inflection in her voice and the ramping up of the drama. This is all just entertainment, it's not news.
Such a large scale. And look at all these people.
Okay, yeah, so it's pretty fresh off that news cycle. So this definitely is going to bias people's opinions and stories of that one.
Gripping new video just in that shows us what was happening inside the Costa Concordia as water rushed inside the ship.
This footage is not from the disaster at all. It's actually from a swimming pool malfunction on the Carnival Paradise, a different ship altogether.
Fuck. Like, look, I always feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm doing better than these people. Like, for fuck's sake. Oh my god!
From 3 years prior, in 2009.
Between the events on the nights of 1912
I'm
and
doing
2012,
okay here.
That's
all I'm going to say.
Ad time. You know, Raycon Man?
Oh.
You're a good guy.
We got Raycon Man again.
To find someone who appreciates you.
Yeah, the Raycon E25 earbuds. They cost half of the price of other premium earbuds.
Exactly. You're a great catch. I'm going to set you up with a...
All I see... Why is he in a bondage suit? That's all I can see. Like, what the fuck?
Friend of mine. So I told him that I could totally fit it. And I guess what they said.
What?
Exactly. God, it's so nice to meet a guy who pays attention.
Yeah, the weather really is nice today.
That's a great idea. Let's go for a walk in the park.
I might have more issues that I need to address because I just mixed up an executioner's hood and a bondage outfit. I'm not judging. I'm merely making an observation. And I'm just asking, you know what? I'm in the fucking hole as is. I'm moving on.
Ooh, ice cream. What flavor should we get?
Yeah, they come in like 6 different colors.
Nice.
Cool, we'll get one of every kind.
Legend. What the fuck?
Oh.
Raycon Man is a legend.
Lost you
Oh!
there.
Oh.
Did you say something? Oh, thank God. I'm so glad I found
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Of course I'll marry
No.
you, Raycon Man.
So on that subject, because if Kiwi's going to try and shitpost me, I'm going to shitpost back to show how much of a dingus I am. So I once tried to put on cuffs. I had to have my former roommates at this point. I had to have them actually get me out of them because I was stuck for like an hour. Like, just fully clothed. I was like, I'm going to do this. I didn't have the dexterity to get out of the situation. So you know what, Kiwi? Try to shitpost me. I'm just going to shitpost back because I am in fact a dingus.
What?
This fucking man!
Do you, Rayconman, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
Yeah, they have like super long battery life without needing to be recharged. Oh, I want to spend my
What do you mean we
long
can't be
life with you
friends?
too, Raycon Man.
Just paired? Oh my God, because it's Bluetooth. I get it.
Merry Christmas, kids.
Wow, the new Raycon E25 everyday earbuds. Thanks,
Right,
Dad.
and it's
Oh my
fucked.
God, thanks, Dad. A puppy.
This would discombobulation. Probably.
I got you something special as well.
Oh my God, my own pair of Raycons. Just what I wanted.
Bro, this ad.
How do they look?
It's the ad that
What?
keeps on giving.
What?
Legendary.
Ha, ha. Merry Christmas, everyone. Go to buy
so my grandpa-
Raycon.com/.
Fair enough, though.
For 15% off the E25 everyday earbuds Raycon.
That is the fair and healthy way to do that, yes. That was legend. Wales.
Costa Concordia. Well, they've cleaned up their act quite a lot.
Okay.
After the disaster, the company was quick to bring in independent.
What is with these
auditors. One thing we didn't
Microsoft
touch
clip art
on is that at
detectives?
the time, they had this protocol running that the safety procedures would be done within 24 hours of leaving port. And that
Okay.
sounds fine, but the problem is new passengers are coming on and off all the time.
Right.
And Civitavecchia, which is the port they just left, is a major one. So
Yeah.
most of the passengers were getting on there. And then between Civitavecchia and their next destination is where they had the crash. And
Okay.
because they were due to have the safety briefing
my
in the
God.
morning the next day,
Yeah, I
you
imagine
had,
policies
a
would be
few thousand
rewritten.
people on board that had absolutely no
Zero
idea
idea.
what to do. So it's like, go to muster stations. What's a muster station? It's a bit like doing your safety procedures mid-flight instead of during takeoff. So that policy has since been changed.
I don't know enough about
Now
Carnival.
everyone
I'm
has
just
to do
looking
a
at this
safety
like,
briefing
I'm good,
before
fam.
or while leaving the port, and pretty much every cruise line offers.
So let's put it this way. If I had $5,000, I would rather go off to fucking, like, I don't know, Europe or Kazakhstan or something, and, like, meet, like, legit people and, like, interact and try local food and shit. I would not fucking spend it on a fucking cruise. If that's any indication where my priorities lie. All I'm saying. Ship leaves, we do safety drills, Disney cruise, though. 5K for a cruise. I don't fucking know how much these cost. That's pre-inflation. I thought it was $5,000. It's probably a lot more now. Or 10K, right? Or I take 10K and I go backpacking across fucking Europe, easy.
Operates this way now
Like,
too. Which is good.
like to be fair,
They've also created a live monitoring system so that they can see where every ship is at any given moment.
right?
I don't
good.
know why there wasn't already like a GPS system
Yeah.
that could see down to the inch
Upgrades
where
to PC.
everyone was at all times. But hitherto they had.
Oh my god! On that, there's I'm working up to it, Kiwi. I promise. There's actually a Genshin fucking PC that I need to fucking show you guys because I found it and I need it.
Chalked up to maybe 2012 technology or something. But most cruise lines have this now too, but some still don't.
Yeah,
Watch out.
Fair.
Along with that, they had some ecological reports commissioned, despite CNN's bluster.
Okay, so hear me out, guys. So we have this PC, right? It's gonna be fucking legendary, I promise. This is my goal for the next PC. Look at this shit. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever fucking seen. Kiwi, my streams are always scuffed. Let's be fucking real.
About
Probably. I don't know enough about it. I've been wanting to.
There was also some stuff in the report about injecting money into the
2K
local
back then,
economy,
wow.
over $1 billion. But you know, that stuff is kind of indirect.
Right,
through the
visiting
cleanup
historical
process.
places, I'd fucking do that in a
Statements
heartbeat.
called factually correct, but not accurate. But overall, they did a pretty good job with the cleanup.
As long
and
as they
showed
did good
a
with the cleanup,
real
yeah.
willingness to improve
Yeah,
things.
fair enough. I can't fault them for that.
Schettino's fate.
Yeah.
Where is Schettino now?
Well, where is he
Well,
now,
he's
segment?
still in jail. He was
Neat.
sentenced to 16 years, starting in 2017, and if some of his house arrest has contributed to time served, then he...
So let's put it this way. Didn't the fucking, the Theranos lady, didn't she only get, like, fucking 10? Like, Theranos, the fucking alleged bread maker, like, 11 years. Someone would have to cite the actual term, right? Or actual term she was made to serve. Like, 16 years for this. What's good? Think Breath of the Wild, but waifus. Theranos. Oh my god. I'll have to watch a video on it at some point, because I've watched Simon Whistler's version. It's a fucking... it's a rabbit hole. It's fucking bad.
He should be out by the year 2029, or earlier, with good behavior.
Yeah,
There was a
easily.
bit of confusion between whether it was 26 years or 16 years. It was 16.
Okay,
The
yeah.
prosecutors asked for 26.
Okay.
We should have been a bit more clear on that.
Relevant,
But
okay,
look,
makes sense.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was released as early as next year.
Right, yeah.
The Italian justice system seems to me to be very forgiving.
Forgiving and
That's why your
spaghetti,
soy
boy.
officers only get between 1 and 2 years each, and most likely none of them did any actual jail time.
PC is...
Schettino's previous accidents. This bit I felt
That
a
sounds
little
awesome.
bit sad about, because it comes across as maybe a smidge dishonest. We didn't mean for it to be,
Okay.
but it's not always easy to give the audience the right impression when the pacing has to be so quick.
Right, okay.
First thing, we showed this picture to people, and I noticed in some reactions, people thought it was real.
And came into port too fast and caused another collision.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
But if you're a bit more of an eagle-eyed viewer, you'll notice right there in the center of the screen is text that says that this isn't real, this is from the movie Speed 2.
Got him!
But I guess it just wasn't
You
enough.
see.
I can understand how someone would actually overlook it, so whoops. There are no
Fuck's
pictures
sake.
that we could find from the incident, so that's what we used. From the
Uh-huh.
2010 incident, when Schettino was captaining the Costa Atlantica, not the Concordia, he crashed it into the Ada Blue when in port in Warnemünde, Germany.
Why?
We jumped on this as a point of information, much like the press did, but it actually turns out that the Ada put out a press release that says something like, the ramp was damaged and this is really not a big deal. So,
Okay.
you know, maybe both of those things were hyped a little bit. I mean, they both happened. But I think we probably put too
That
much
sounds
of an
awful.
exclamation
Sorry.
mark
Hopefully
on it.
PC gets fixed soon. How
La
California.
Veritas Semeas. What is this book
Oh,
about?
hey, it's Rapture.
Well, it's Schettino's attempt to exonerate himself from responsibility for what happened.
Of course he would.
He uses
Why
a lot
not?
of VDR data and court records to say, basically, look, hey, it's not all me. There's a shared responsibility here on the company and the officers. And there's some truth
Yeah, it's
to
deflecting.
that. And I think he should be able to defend himself, so...
Putting current events into this, I mean, it's exactly what Logan Paul's doing. I'm not reacting to the videos. Like, I've watched them. I definitely have strong critiques on them. I don't want to delve too deep into them. But yeah, it is a tactic for people that will, like, try to displace blame and try to, like, put it across other people. I mean, this makes sense for him.
If you're curious and you can read Italian, why not grab a copy? I also wanted
Because
to
I
put
don't
out there
support
that
him.
there's a couple of YouTube videos made by him, but I wasn't entirely sure whether to link people to this because I didn't want people going over there and just putting a bunch of
Right.
spam and mean comments
Right,
and
that's
stuff
fair.
on the
Oh,
comment
hour
section.
fuck up.
That actually happened with Samorton's Instagram page when we used that as a prop, and you know, we don't really want that sort of stuff to happen, but I
Yeah.
do think that
Please don't do
deserves
this.
a fair chance to have his say.
Don't
So
hate mob people
I'm gonna
like
put
that.
a link in the description,
Please.
and I'd appreciate
I don't think I
it if
have to
you-
tell anyone
you'll
here.
act
Just doing
in
my
the
due diligence.
cool way that you do. Very cool. Be cool.
The fucking mines.
The officers. What happened to them?
Right, it's a
of
little
them
too
are
far.
Just keeping low profile and getting on with their lives. We actually managed to find Jacob Rusligbin.
Oh.
I put a bounty out to find him and paid it too. But in
Nice.
the end, we decided not to post his personal information in the video. We had found it quite late in development as well. And when we were doing these action scenes, we didn't know what he looked like.
Right.
People saying he looked like this. This is not him.
No.
People saying he looked like this. This is not him.
Not him.
People sending me photos of him all the time. You've all got it wrong. So instead we used a Sims 3 head. And then later on we did find him, and then we decided not to swap out the heads. Because
I mean, so even then, like, I mean, it's like... So who's at fault if a project fails? So if you're expected to have, say, an app, right? Let's just say like an app, up, coded, and ready by next fucking week, right? Who realistically is going to get shit? You know, the fucking the fallout, right? It's gonna be the manager, right? I thought some sort of right. Right, no, Huey, that is definitely a relevant distinction there. No, it's like if he. Right, so the language barrier and the situation was just just a mix of things, 100%. He was still the one in charge, and it's gonna come back on the whoever's managing that situation, which he was managing that situation. I think it's fair that he's the one that's getting the fucking flack for it. Yes, there's other factors at play. However, you were the fucking manager here. You took on this responsibility.
You know, this video went out to more than 1 million people. I just don't want a bunch of righteous actors going over there and fucking up his life. I don't like that. I see it on Twitter. Fair. I don't like it. Dominika Samort.
Yeah, I got you. I got you on camera.
Yes, I felt a little bit bad about this.
Awful.
She's been through the rung of the media quite a lot over the last few years. But I do have to show you this because I think it's very funny.
What is happening?
Although it'll probably get the video demonetized.
What is happening? Does that say cringe spoon? Oh, drug spoon. Oh. Mentos. The editing in this is actually really great. Okay, can we not? No, that's a bridge too far. Fuck up your own life. Don't fuck up the lives of kids.
What?
A injecta copiilor tăi droguri.
There's also a misconception that the captain was going too close to shore because he was trying to show off to Sir Morton. In fact, that is almost certainly not true.
Okay.
And it's much more likely that he was just trying to be nice to the maitre d'. He was trying to create like a special moment for him. So it was uncovered that the maitre d's sister lives on the island, and she was really excited to see her brother on the ship. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they were even Facebook posting about it and going, oh, you know, he's going to be here at this time and I'll be able to wave to him and he can see my house and it'll be so cool. And so,
just stop fucking with kids.
One of the reasons why they were getting so close
Enough said.
The captain was trying to do a nicety for the maitre d'.
Okay, so not proven.
Now, this recreation scene, we had to cut a lot from it.
Okay. Right.
It was originally 35 minutes long. It was
Jesus
way
Christ.
too much. And so once we had the full scope of it, essentially storyboarded the whole thing out on the timeline, we started paring it back.
Yeah.
And most of the things that were cut were phone calls.
No, the final cut was great. The final cut was awesome.
Here's some examples. Already, this is becoming a big story. Io Carino says to the staff captain, the situation has become unbearable. There's 1 meter of water. Also, there's water in the elevators. The conversation between Chief Engineer Pilon and Captain. Pilon says, all flooded, DG 1, 2, 3. They just keep asking the same questions and give...
This just flooding just make me think of the fucking Bismarck. God, don't I have a React video in my fucking channel on that? Or in the queue? I need to fucking react to the Bismarck. This just make me want to react to that.
Progressively dire updates. The captain calls the lower deck. Is there water? But there's no response. Hello? An unconfirmed voice says, watertight doors closed. Okay, you see about the blackout. The important thing is that no water is getting in. Many voices.
I always want to listen to Sabaton, that's my secret.
Some of the dialogue in these scenes also might seem a bit unpolished. That's because we're trying to use as much direct quote as possible.
Right, okay,
from the
gotcha.
characters.
Makes sense.
Rather than summarizing what they said or putting too much of a comedic tone on it.
Right.
We figured the more we went into like the comedic route, the less it would keep this sort of intrigue and drama of what they were really saying, you know, what they were really feeling. There was also a ton of repetition. Like, the captain is constantly calling the lower decks for updates and just saying the same thing. Hey, is it flooded? Hey, is it getting worse?
Man.
And then they're just going, no, the engines won't start. Yes, we're struggling with the emergency generator. And so it's a lot of pointless back and forth. We also cut some things that are confusing. So the captain first spoke to the harbour master in Civitavecchia, but he managed to smooth things over with them, and he didn't speak to them again. But then it was afterwards that the phone call happened where the woman called her daughter, and then the daughter called the police, and the police called the Livorno harbour master,
for pacing's
which then
sake,
set off this chain of events.
The ship on a fucking self!
That felt like way too much in the weeds detail, and it was going to interrupt the flow, so we cut that initial phone call with Civitavecchia.
Right, I can respect
as
that
just a little more detail.
absolutely.
There were 25 patrol boats that came in from Livorno, Civitavecchia, Rome, Oglia, Portoferrina, Porto Santo Stefano, Porto E. Coli, and Talamoni. Involved with the Italian Federal Police, the State Police, the Carabinieri,
This is a
the
big
fire
operation.
brigades,
Oh my
8
god.
helicopters from the Coast Guard, the Federal Police, even the Italian Navy and Air Force were
Navy
involved,
was dispatched.
as well as 14 merchant.
Why do I feel like if the Navy has... Is that a RuneScape boat? Why do... If the Navy has to get dispatched, why do I feel that something's fucked itself? Like, that's when you know things are fucked.
Vessels and 4 port tugboats. Massive operation. And it was all mostly under the competent directive of DeFalco.
Dude was super legit at his job, actually. Hands on deck
DeFalco's
moments.
call. We cut this short because...
God damn it, that was the
section had gone on
RuneScape
bit
one.
too
Son of a
long,
bitch.
But these phone calls where DeFalco puts Schettino on blast are hilarious. Here are the highlights.
Pronto? Comandante Schettino, comandante. Schettino? Sì. Ascolti Schettino. Ci sono persone intrappolate a bordo. Adesso lei va con la sua chaloupe sotto la prua della nave, lato dritto. Le è chiaro? Allora, comandante, le dico una cosa. Parli a voce alta. Allora, la nave adesso, io sono qua di...
Do wants out.
Se parli a voce più alta, metta la mano davanti al microfono e parla a voce alta. Allora, in questo momento...
It was able to respond, yeah.
È inclinata. Ho capito. C'è gente, ascolti, c'è gente che sta scendendo dalla biscaggina di prua. Lei quella biscaggina la percorre in senso inverso, sale sulla nave e mi dice quante persone e che cosa hanno a bordo. Chiaro? Guardi Schettino che lei si è salvato.
I mean, so Schettino at this point, he would have been the point of contact that would need to be on there. Like, this is the dynamic, right? The captain goes down on the ship, yes. He should have gone up that fucking ladder, addressed the situation, and he should have been the point of contact that this man is clearly fucking needing there. He's a captain. He's expected to clearly have the fucking... credentials, not the word before. Clearly have the fucking experience and the know-how on how to make this fucking work, and he is the man he needs on that ship helping run this. Like... He can't do it. The guy, right? He can't do his job effectively if Schettino's just fucking off in the lifeboat somewhere in a fucking suit. Get there, percent nice. Now, see, I want someone. If we get a Cav Scout ad, I don't know if they exist. If we get a Cav Scout ad, I need to know. And someone like screenshot that shit because I need that for. I need to send that to somebody.
Comandante, per cortesia. No, per cortesia, lei adesso...
Go and get on board.
Mi assicuri che sta andando a bordo. Io sto andando qua con la lancia dei soccorsi, sono sotto qua, non sono andato da nessuna parte, sono qua. Che sta facendo, comandante? Sto qua per coordinare i soccorsi. Che sta coordinando lì? Vado a bordo, mi coordini i soccorsi da bordo.
Yep.
Lei si rifiuta? No, non mi sto rifiutando. Lei si sta rifiutando di andare a bordo, comandante? No, sto andando. E mi dica qual è il motivo per cui non ci va.
Right.
Sto andando perché ci sta l'altra lancia che si è fermata. Lei vada a bordo, è un ordine. Lei non deve fare altre valutazioni. Lei ha dichiarato l'abbandono nave. Adesso comando io.
Yeah.
Lei vada a bordo.
He is assuming direct control.
Comandante. Non mi sente? Sto andando a bordo. Vada. Ci sono
Okay. He's so fucking stuck.
Uno l'ho sentito. Me lo devi dire lei quanti ce ne sono, Cristo.
Man is fearing for his
Ma
life.
ti rende conto che è buio e che qua non vediamo nulla? E che vuole tornare a casa, Schettino? È buio, vuole tornare a casa?
Dark, you wanna go home?
Sulla prua della nave tramite la biscaggina e mi dica cosa si può fare, quante persone ci sono e che bisogno hanno. Ora!
Based on the records from the Coast
Wow.
Guard, Schettino hid
Absolute
from authorities
legend,
for
that man.
most of the night. Early on, when the Coast Guard first arrived with a boat, they searched around for the captain, and he was already gone.
Yeah.
He had abandoned ship while there were still hundreds of people on board. So
That has to fuck with your like chances of getting another job, right? Like you abandoned that fucking asset. You abandoned that ship. Oh my god.
they report to command.
Like, to clarify, please do not fucking send Schettino hate. Like, man is clearly fucking suffering enough. Like, I'm not someone that wants to hate mob people. I'm not someone that is going to encourage hate mobbing. Like, man fucked up. That's all I can say.
That the captain might be on shore, so they head there. They can't find him there, so they head back to the ship.
Right.
DeFalco then tells the Coast Guard to find him and drag his ass back on board. Someone from the Coast Guard then spots Schettino on
DeFalco,
the rocks
you legend.
near Point Gabbianara, and they inform the police, some of
Hey,
whom
Mobbing
are
is
down
cringe.
at the beach. So the police chief makes his way over there. He finds Schettino and tries to reason with him.
Yep.
Hey, come on, you got to go back, you got to get on a boat, you got to go to the Coast Guard. Schettino refuses.
Yeah.
Instead, he spends the next half hour or so just watching the rescue operation.
Yep.
It's pretty pathetic. The police captain gives up eventually, and then he returns to port. There is some speculation that the reason Schettino did this was because he was considering throwing himself off the rocks.
Probably,
At least that's what one
probably
of the
crossed his
officers
mind,
said.
being completely honest.
It's hard to know if that's
Harley
true.
Irving,
Probably is.
love that man.
It'd be understandable at that point.
No, probably crossed his mind. Not that I can in good faith encourage that type of action. No, life is worth living. This is, yes, a fuck up. He could have chosen to be better. He could still choose to be better. Like, I will not encourage anyone to take their own life. That's not who I'm about. That's not what I support. He could have come back from this, and he actively chose to make bad decisions.
From there, the police tell
Sergeant
the
Johnson,
Coast Guard-
kinda, yeah.
DeFalco then calls
DeFalco's a
Schettino's
legend.
mobile and orders him back on board. Schettino claims that he's going back on the Costa.
Whether he still is or not also is another issue entirely, because clearly he was a broken man, and he made the choice the night of to talk to the reporters, to talk to the press, to get his statement out there, which was factually incorrect, to paint him as this hero, I went down with the ship, I was the last person on the ship, which was clearly incorrect, and has continued to make bad, self-serving, selfish decisions since then. Whether he still has guilt or not, that's ultimately we really can't diagnose, and it's not really our place to. It is entirely possible that he sees this as not his fault at this point. It's entirely possible. He's made really bad choices, is all I'm going to say. What's active character in SpongeBob? Oh my god, what character? I need to know.
Right now. But DeFalco knows that's not true, because he knows where
No,
he
and
is.
that's
He
the
knows
thing,
he's
like,
on the rocks.
11
over
years
there.
does things to a
so
person.
DeFalco tells
Absolutely.
Schettino that a Coast Guard boat is on its way to his location, and you'd better be bloody well on board it. And then it arrives.
Legend.
Schettino refuses to board it, and they give up.
Right, and I want to do my best to be
and then
someone
they
that
send another
focuses
boat, and eventually he
not to the point
agrees
of
to go.
toxic positivity.
They take him to the shore.
It
and
is
he's
worth
interviewed
living.
by police. And
I want to do what I
arrested.
can to help who I can. I'm not licensed by any means. I'm not, so what the fuck is happening? Why
So
are we
let's
in Dark
talk about
Souls?
DeFalco's demotion. It's hard to know exactly what was going on.
Oh my god, I think I
between
remember
DeFalco
that.
and Delana. A lot of it seems to be this overshadowing thing.
Okay.
But there's one more factor that might have been the missing puzzle. I'm not saying this for sure,
right?
But it was a thing that was heavily speculated
Appreciate the
about.
clarification.
Not long before he was demoted, DeFalco had expressed public support for the victims of the Moby Prince disaster.
The what?
Now, the Moby Prince was an Italian ferry which used to operate in Livorno until April 10th, 1991,
It looks got some
when the
sharp
ferry was
uniforms.
involved in an accident and 140 people died. It's widely regarded that the incompetence of the Italian Coast Guard at the time led to this high death toll, as well as a corrupt judicial system which essentially absolved these government officers and their mishandling of the situation, and they were able to cover up for
he'd
the
be
disaster.
pissed. On this
So
description
after
alone, he'd be
DeFalco
pissed.
expressed public support for uncovering the truth of what happened, he received his order to be transferred to admin. Very interesting. A lot
This
of
is
people
all
consider that to
allegedly,
be
of
far
course.
too
It's
coincidental,
not
and that
factual,
it was punishment.
can't be
There was
proven,
a
it's
fair amount
allegedly.
of public outcry after this happened, and there were even politicians demanding an explanation as to why something of a national hero had been snubbed. Once he said, "See you later," to the Coast Guard, he joined the 5-Star movement. an Italian political party, and was elected in March 2018. And by December that same year, he was expelled from the party.
What?
I don't know a whole lot about it. He claims that he was expelled because he didn't vote in line with what the other party members wanted. And so today he serves as an independent.
Fair enough. Or as Simon Whistler would say, allegedly. No, that's upsetting. At least he's in the field that could make that change.
So, we've made some pretty heavy indictments on the captain and his character.
Right.
I think it's cowardly, pathetic, but there's a little on the other side of the argument that also should be addressed. He was not the only one responsible for this crash. His staff were complacent and not following procedure.
Right.
His helmsman went in the wrong direction multiple times.
Yeah.
The ship had engineering failures like leaking watertight doors. The ship itself was doomed from the moment it hit the rocks.
No.
There was nothing he could have actually done to save it.
No,
however,
it was damaged.
The court kind of hand-waved a lot of this stuff. And to me, it seems like they were going for a little bit of a PR trial. So, for example, admitted into the witness testimony, Ciro Ambrosio claimed that...
So, here's my prediction on this at this point, with this information, is that they're wanting to kind of put it to rest, and they're wanting to actually portray him as the sole villain, because it's easier to portray someone as the villain than something as the villain, because you can put a name to someone, you can effectively hate someone a little bit easier. So they could have been using this as a tactic, because they got indictments and testimony from all the other people, right? And gave them lighter sentences and bargains for that to convict him. So it entirely could have been. This could have been. I see. Obviously, allegedly, I see where this could come into play, though.
That Schettino never took the con.
Oh, Tifo was amazing PR. I love the memes. I still love the memes.
That's not true at all. You can clearly hear it on the VDR. Schettino says it. He does, in fact, take the con. So we're not sure why he said that. We're not sure why it's there in the court records. But it sort of adds to this case of making the captain look worse. Ferrarini also told the court that he was very mad.
It was a cascading failure.
And the Coast Guard, lying that it was only a blackout. But Ferrarini was doing practically exactly the same thing.
Right.
He was keeping it quiet from the Coast Guard and hoping that they could fix the problem amongst themselves.
Right.
Jacob Russley-Bin, who was a critical witness for Schettino's defense, just up and left the country.
Oh my god, the day they did was so fucking funny, though, when I learned why.
I'd expect for his punishment to be 16 years in prison as well. But, you know, the court also focused quite a lot on the affair with Sir Morton, even though it had basically nothing to do with the tragedy. It was fairly incidental. To be fair, we did that too. We thought it was funny. But they turned it into a media circus, and the claims about her distracting the captain, as far as we can tell, are just untrue.
Okay, so, and that's the thing, is if this was just allegedly, if this was something that was, for all intents and purposes, this could have been a factor. I mean, amend statement to this could have been something, this could have been a detracting factor. However, it is not officially a thing that happened, and it's speculated at that point. Schettino should win. Oh my god, that'd be... Man actually just brings up, like, Tifa memes in fucking his court cases. I don't fucking know. Legend.
Thank you for the note, by the way. One of the editors here says, it's not like he had her bent over the steering wheel at the time.
Rough.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. Schettino's lawyers eventually talked about taking his case to the European Court of Human Rights. They said that basically they'd already decided his guilt and didn't give him a fair trial, also citing that no one who was judging him had nautical experience or had worked on a large ship before. You know, make of that what you will. But, you know, they did also give all of the officers plea deals and essentially only put Schettino on trial, practically guaranteeing a conviction. Yeah, so anyway, I just want to balance out the argument there. Should he be in jail? Yes. But all these things too.
I mean, the other people should have been as well. I mean, if they're all equally as negligent, if they're all equally as blatantly choosing to ignore standard operating procedure, I mean, it should be fair.
I'll point out one more thing as well that
not that I'm the dealer of judgment
a little
by
bit
any means.
Into the weeds. Italy absolutely did not want cruising to stop. Costa Corporate got off with a little more than a slap on the wrist. It was a $1 million fine, and by the way, you better clean up your mess. It was basically the extent of it. And okay, that bill added up to well over $1 billion once that was done, but there was no criminal punishment. And I think the reason that happened is because cruising matters a lot to the local economies.
Right.
They were keen to see it running at full capacity once again, as soon as possible.
Like, you can clearly fucking see Italy. Like, shipping is going to be fucking huge for Italy. Importing things, trade, commerce is going to focus around fucking just all of this, right? Like, it's clearly it's locked on fucking water on, like, 3 sides. Most of its landmass, right? It would make fucking sense that they have incentive, they have an agenda to keep cruises open. Tourism, right? Tourism is great. Small towns, like we as gone over in the not Ted the Caver, the actual thing that happened, right? The actual Man in Cave that Internet Historian covered. Like, sorry, I had a catch in my throat. When we covered that, right? Small mining town, no one fucking goes there. The tourism boomed, and that town got a lot of fucking money. So I could see this being an agenda that they could have. I can't prove it. Allegedly, this could have bias their policy making. Always check, see if there's problems. Right. McDonald's to general management. Right. Oh my god. He directed everyone sail past. Since he kind of does. You have a what in your throat? It feels like a catch. Fucking. Like a fucking prickly sensation. Oh, it's awful. Sorry.
So, with that in mind, perhaps some of the people over at HQ who should have been prosecuted were spared so that business could keep on chugging. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, if you prosecute them, then you're actually punishing these local businesses.
Close,
and
but
it starts
not.
getting complicated. It's better all handled through civil trials.
Right.
And they did handle it through civil trials.
Okay.
So that makes sense. Also, I have to point out this clip, which is a straight up, what the heck are you talking about? Because, well, look for yourself.
Ng mga 10:30,
Good for him, around
dumating po
10
yung
or...
araw na yun.
And so,
Eh,
we don't
kasama ko
recognize.
siyang
Okay.
babae na hindi ko kilala. Yung time po nun, naramdaman po namin na nagbagsakan na ho lahat ng mga niluluto namin sa cook. Nung si komandante, kinignan ho sabi namin.
The captain was non-stop on the phone the whole time.
Right.
This is all clear on the VDR.
Okay.
The lights were out. He didn't go back to dining. This is just categorically untrue.
Right.
But, the media will let anything go out.
Well, so here's the thing. With any new information, right? Like, you can take new information at face value, right? Like, someone could say, like, oh yeah, Kaiju Kip is, Kip, you're fucking on the front page of Twitch, right? I mean, that doesn't make it correct. And I mean, like, even if new information is presented, you can still take it with a grain of salt and still disprove it if it's still wrong. Like, I go to the front page of Twitch. I guarantee I'm not on the front page of Twitch. Hopefully one day. So new information like this coming out, right? Should we look at it? Yes. Should we accept it as truth? No. We need research. We need citations. Cooking have to deal with driving a vessel. I think what was insinuated here from that statement was that the captain was just being non-complacent and just waiting on food. Is top breaking? Oh my god, it's not. I'm not.
Island troubles. The Concordia had sunk right off the shores of Chile, and it was very close to their port as well.
Right.
And this effectively closed things for a while, and once it was reopened, it was only reopened to a reduced
That's going to
capacity.
kill that town's
and for
economy.
The fishermen who worked there, it's not just a matter of, you avoid it and you'll be fine. There's a ton of security, there's cleanup crews roaming around, there's all sorts of things. That just mean that you can't come and go as you please anymore.
Warnox
and
needs it
because
right.
the locals weren't too happy about it.
No.
There was this big fuck-off cruise ship ruining their slice of paradise.
Yeah.
It had also become a hub for tourists to visit and gawk at the ship.
Right.
To be fair, if I was in the area, I'd be sailing out there too to gawk at it. The island was filled with news reporters who would come to take photos and ask dumb questions in English. Buongiorno, el familiar avec
DiGiorno?
and also an endless
I know you said
stream of
buongiorno.
cleanup crews who were living on the
DiGiorno?
island in temporary accommodation. And overall, it had most of them bothered. But for a contingency of people on the island, there was some good news too. A lot of the hotels and bars and restaurants typically closed for half the year when they couldn't get enough customers.
Not delivery.
It might be winter time, something
DiGiorno,
like that,
goddamn it.
and people wouldn't come and visit in high enough volume for them to keep their establishment open.
So this was a
for
good
that
boom.
Period, while the
Like, they
cleanup
lost
crews
their
were there,
local
they were able to
economy,
keep
but this is a
things
good boom for
open
them.
all year round.
Not sustainable, obviously. Not
Renee
Concordia's
and
out
Renee.
there. Oh my god.
Very successful law firm based in New York, also operating in Hungary. Mr.
Really?
Renee speaks Hungarian fluently, hence why he takes on a lot of these cases.
The large
and
groups
he
of
was able to
I mean,
suss
yeah,
out
no,
that it was a
absolutely.
scam well before the media did.
And as stated before, it's because the media got their hands on this that this blew up to the proportions it did. If the media didn't or ignored this, completely different situation.
Comment that I was wrong about Hungary having no laws for insurance fraud, and maybe you're right, but that's a direct quote from Mr. Rick.
Go back. Define go back.
People comment that I was wrong.
Duck boat crash? What are you talking about?
Renee also has a track record for successfully suing cruise lines.
Duck boat crash? What the fuck? No, that's just fucking sad.
Seems to be a bit of a specialty of theirs. In this segment, I had quite a few people comment that I was wrong.
Hungary has to have
having no laws for insurance fraud, and maybe you're right, but that's a direct quote from Mr. Renee.
Absolute legend. If anyone knows a fucking second or even like third plus language, you are an absolute fucking legend. Like I don't care what anyone else says. You're an absolute fucking legend, because to be able to just be like, hi, my name is Kip, to be like, watashi no namae wa Kipu desu, to be like, fuck, I'm spacing on Spanish right now, right? Like, your brain is, you have a skill that not a whole lot of other people have. If I had more time to myself, I'd definitely be learning more languages, because that's so fucking cool.
Is in this area of law. So I just took his word for it.
Yeah,
also, this is in 2012. Yeah. Maybe it's not true of today. And that wouldn't stop them from being prosecuted for other crimes, regular fraud, lying to authorities.
No, it was Japanese.
But they weren't. And the point is that the couple got away with it. Mario...
I know just enough Spanish to get me in trouble. That's all I'm going to say.
Pellegrini, the deputy mayor. We just wanted to include
my German is awful. Do not ask me to speak it.
In a leadership position.
I love German. I cannot speak it.
Instead of running away and hiding like the captain did, this guy immediately jumped on one of the boats returning to the Costa, and he went around helping passengers. We thought it was a very nice contrast.
Amphibious landing vehicles.
Martin the Magician.
Neat.
Maybe we didn't do the best job explaining here. So let me do a quick recap. Essentially, you've got this magician.
What was the fucking video on the subject of Russian? I think it was... Oh, what was his name? Killian Experience. Killian Experience had a video where he's just like, yeah, no, here's some Russian for you. He says, suka blit. And he's like, Gratz, now you know enough Russian to be a fucking lawyer or some shit like that. I'm just like, ah! The Swedish memes. I'm awful at fucking other language, to be fair. Oh my god. I know I tried... So, my Kip is actually Dutch. So... I tried learning Dutch for a period of time. I hear from people that live and natively speak Dutch that it's a silly language, I hear. My German is fucking awful. I apologize to your fucking ears, chat. Like a fist that needs a face in it, or sorry, a face that needs a fist in it, right? Backpfeifengeist, I think. I think that's how it's pronounced. Or like Panzer, which is obviously fucking tank. Krankenwagen, which is ambulance, I believe. Schmetterling, butterfly, right? I have to learn Spanish due to the amount of Spanish speaking. Right, and to be fair, it's a fucking skill. Like, you go to Idaho, who the fuck knows fucking Spanish here? Right? I mean, yes, a lot of people do, don't get me wrong. Like, being multilingual is a fucking absolute legendary fucking skill everyone should have. Right, no, I know you were translating what you wrote. No, I'm awful at German, 100%. Gewehr? Is that I don't know how it's pronounced. Kip, how would you pronounce Shelby? I don't know. I don't know what that the symbol is. I know what the umlaut is at the very least. Thanks to fucking Game Grumps.
And he's doing a cut woman in half trick. And just as the assistant is about to step into the front half of the
getting
bar,
destroyed,
the ship crashes. Everything gets put on pause. Then there's also a dancer, right? Rosalind Rinkin, and she's already in the box, because once they cut this lady in half, right, she's going to stick out her legs, right? So,
that's a fucking thing.
As part of the act. So
it's not... On the subject of that, so Weiss versus Weiss. Isn't Weiss German for white? But is it spelt the same in French but pronounced differently? I'm curious on this. W-E-I-S-S, right? Because I thought it was Weiss in German.
Rosalind can feel the jolt, and then she can hear the audience murmuring, and she's like, whoa, let me out. Then the lights go out, and you start hearing more like, whoa, what's going on? And then at this point, it's pitch black, right? And Martin
flicks
the latch
okay, got it.
to let Rosalind out so that she can get out. And then he just bolts off the stage.
He just bolts, he's
he
done.
just takes off running. And then the lights come back on, and it's this bizarre ta-da. Because they've ruined the cut.
Look, chat, I have warned you, my German is not fucking good. It's really not, and I want to apologize apologize directly to Germany and German speakers everywhere that my German is just atrocious. I'm so sorry.
Woman in half trick, and you can just hear his footsteps running away across the wooden stage in the distance. And everyone's going, wait a minute, what the fuck? He's just leaving? What the heck? And people start to panic a bit. And then
Slipper's probably asleep.
Kind of go, oh, maybe we should start directing the audience
welcome.
Here. And then later on, when the shot
Sorry, I had to
starts
subject
tilt,
you to my German.
the whole box just falls right into the audience.
Right, yeah.
And then by that point, everyone's just panicking. Okay, get the fuck out. We've got to get back to our cabins. We've got to get to Must Station. We've got to get out of here. But I think it's very funny that Martin just ran away. He's a fairly famous magician.
Okay.
He's been on telly a few times. You can see his stuff on YouTube.
Right, he's just like, no, I'm good. Oh, the wig.
Pasta dish. What did we do with it afterwards? We threw it away.
That's my fucking question, actually. Oh my god. Pronounced the words wrong, but not enough to be... I'll take it. I'll take not being completely fucking illiterate. I will definitely take that. I'm not pronouncing that Kiwi. No,
Wait,
I'm not confident
it's
enough.
like $1 worth of pasta.
What happened to spaghetti?
And a $1.50 jar of sauce. I offered it to the editors, but amazingly,
thank you, Shira
they didn't
Uta.
want
I
it after
appreciate
put,
the
like,
subscription.
grubby hands
Thank you.
in it and threw it into a dirty sink. Ungrateful, that's what I said.
Bro!
There they are.
It's so fucked!
The deets.
Callie Japanese. Except Callie's actually good at Japanese, from my understanding. Panzer
Also,
Kampfwagen. Yeah, no, it's tank.
This guy reviewed our video. He's a nautical expert waterman.
Love this man.
And
Already
he
love
said
this
that we
man.
were very accurate. Thank you very much.
Cool.
By the way, I just want to say that this is an excellent recollection of the whole event.
What's up with Taika Waititi stealing my fucking ideas for videos? What the fuck? No one was talking about Steve Bonnet till I was. I wager someone saw that and then they just went, yeah, we'll have it. Thanks. I swear to God, if there's a montage scene in there where he like...
I don't know
learns to
enough. I
become
haven't heard
a pirate,
Callie's
I'm gonna be
Japanese enough.
Furious. I think that's every... Oh, why it takes so long to do these videos.
Because it's fucking
and
editing.
why
Oh
it
my
took so
god.
long to get this Q&A done. There's a Q&A coming out next week on Incognito Mode. Right, well, basically what happened was after we missed that first deadline of a week, everything just got put on the back burner. It was like, all right, well, we
makes
didn't
sense.
make it. There's actually other projects that need focus on, so we just started back on in the field.
I'm sorry, did that just fucking say Return of the Vaccine?
Didn't make it. There's actually...
King of the Capitol Hill game stonk. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to see The Fall of 76. I do need to watch that, though.
Other projects that need focus on, so we just started back on in the field and we started working on more main channel stuff. Also, you know, this was expected to be a, hey, we'll do this off the cuff, it'll take 20 minutes.
Nope.
And then it's like a, of course, 40-minute produced
That's how
fucking
editing
edited
Yep.
video in there.
That's how it ends up
We had
being.
to find a lot of old assets as well. The main channel videos.
God.
I feel like maybe we just never explain why it takes so long.
Here's his chair in the background. You need to watch the No Man's Sky one. Yes, I will have to watch that.
To do these things. Here, you know
What
what?
are
I'm
you
going to do a
reacting?
little breakdown of what each scene requires to show a little bit of our timeline.
Scandal. Oh my god. I had to laugh as hard as I am because I'm in fucking SCA. Like, this is right up my fucking alley in terms of fucking humor. It really is.
We've got all these different
Yeah.
layers. So it's
Yeah,
like
you
asset
do.
on
I
asset
see
on
that.
asset on asset.
Uh-huh.
Anything that's green is actually another layer of assets, and most things.
See,
have
you
green
joke.
in them. So if I
But,
go
oh my
into
god,
this,
I
it's just
can't
more
explain
assets.
it.
So it's even more than it first looks. Let's go to something simple, which is
Stop
like the opening scene.
I hear it got better.
In this opening
Find a
shot,
streamer
it sort of
from
consists
Sonar
of
Meyer.
3 layers.
I-
There is a video.
I try not to dox myself too much. I will say that I am from Idaho. However, because of doxing reasons, because swatting's such a problem, I don't elaborate other than that. There's also nothing to do in this state, is what I will say.
Underneath, and that's playing of the ocean, and then on
the
top of that,
microwave
we've
one.
photoshopped out a railing. So we.
So
would
the
have
only
to
reason
take
I
this
can
from
really handle is
somewhere
'cause I'm
and then
a
essentially
workaholic.
cut everything
I will
out so that it's a
like,
transparent PNG,
tunnel vision on
and then you can
projects.
still see the background behind it.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
you've got Harold, and you know, so he
Yeah.
looks like this, and then we've essentially just put a head on a body that we've also
Right, yeah.
cut out. So that's 3 layers, and then we'll have that playing. And
no,
then
these look like these are composite shots in hit film. I don't know if these are using hit film specifically. These take fucking forever. We need to go fishing, shooting, Walmart. I don't want to go to Walmart. I really don't. Especially I don't. Right. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to do, so that's why I stream.
With that,
I get to meet people from all over the world doing
nested
it.
sequence,
It's awesome.
and then the nested sequence will have a bunch of effects in it. So, for example, the opacity's increasing there.
Right, yeah.
And there is a position and a zoom on that as well. So this sort of stuff might take 15, 20 minutes to put together. Something like that, with all the cutting out and all that sort of stuff. And then that
not even our
becomes
biggest export, actually.
2
Fun
seconds
fact.
to 9 seconds. And this is quite a long
Yeah, we
shot.
do.
Most of these shots
I've
aren't
definitely
this
heard it
long.
called that.
So that becomes, and then there's script and VO on top of that. And this is like the 80th version of the script.
Yeah.
And then music goes underneath that.
So this is why I have nothing but Monkitsu fucking happening Virgil status. Oh, goddamn, I gave out the sauce. Damn it, I broke the Virgil code. Anyways, that's why I have Virgil status out on the main channel. And I just post memes. Because, one, it helps me with my editing skills to, like, cement those habits, to cement those things, to actually practice editing. And, like, this exact reason is why I don't have a lot of scripted content out on the main channel.
So you can see how it also
it's pretty
take
close.
quite a long time. Then that gets taken over by 2 cross dissolves, and then one of those is a nest, and then it's in the, I'm not sure why that's so many layers.
Kiwi, you can't give out the sauce.
Okay, so we've got to make the eyes move. Each of these eyes has to kind of move independently.
I don't know how this is done. This is mind-boggling to me.
And then he stays completely stationary, but then he's put into a nest, and then that nest is zooming. It gives it this feeling of being a little more lifelike. Then we've got the background of the ship, and so we've
everyone's in
added
California
a
or New
separate
York, right? Or
position and
Texas,
zoom,
right?
and
I've been to
then
Texas.
we've added up an effect to give it
definitely
depth.
interesting to be
Then
from
that
this
does a
part
dip
of the
to
States,
white,
I will
and
say.
that comes in with some regular footage. That fades into
Ragu. Never
overlaid,
Ragu,
and
no.
then in comes Herald again. So the opacity increases, there's a zoom function, and then this is a combination of a few different assets. So we've got just the head, and then we've got this second face here.
Yeah, we
and
are.
It just fades one into the other. And then you take this nest, and then sound effect is added underneath.
Oh my
so yeah, it's
God.
quite simple stuff. There's just a lot of it. But
Oh, it
once you
is.
start getting over
But it's
here
why it's so good, is
to
that he does
these sort
have
of
the time
action
to do
scenes,
this. I
you
don't.
can see that it becomes quite a lot. Let's take it from...
I'm hoping at some point. I would love to have content creation take over as my full time. I can't do it offhand. I could tell you what I like physically could math out to make per month in order to make this a viable fucking thing, like 100%. Maxor or I don't fucking know. I mean, Maxor has a. I would say Maxor because he has a lot more effects in such a shorter time frame. Not that each of them are. Not that each of them aren't good creators in their own right. They're absolutely legendary. Probably, yeah. I would assume Maxor's timeline, I think he showed it a few times, is
5 minutes 30,
just
so
thick.
11 shots over the course of 30 seconds.
Yeah, no,
So
that's
that
a
means
lot of
there's
work.
a shot on average about once every 3 seconds. And then you sort of scale that out to a 40-odd minute video.
It takes
let's
a
say
while.
our average shot probably isn't about
Oh,
3
Max
seconds.
Aristotle,
Might be
got
something
it.
close to about 4 seconds. That's 15 per minute, so that's 570 individual shots. And then within each shot, you might
Maxor
have
Brain is
1,
amazing,
2,
isn't it?
3, 4, okay,
It's like
10.
3 or 4.
So that's 14, and then 15.
Well, you could have Vinny Vinesauce that lives on, what is it, I think he lives on Staten Island, right? I fucking love Vinny Vinesauce. He is just the unit, the legend himself.
6 of these are sound effects. 16, 17, 18, 19,
Fuck.
20. So you might have 20 assets. I'm not sure if that's particularly typical. So you might be talking about roughly 11,000 assets over the course of the video.
Easy.
I think if I look at the video files themselves, there'll be a lot of redundancy in here as well.
Yep, it has to keep loading.
It just keeps going.
It keeps going. It has to discover them all.
Look at it go.
Get going.
Fuck. About a quarter of a terabyte.
Hard drive.
So there's 50,000 files in here. And you can just really click anywhere.
I like that he has to blur out his fucking files. I really like this, actually.
And, go bin 1, whatever, and it's all just like collected, cut out assets. Like every one of these has been like photoshopped, and there's just like thousands of them. And so that's why things take so long.
Yeah.
Just because, we're not filming anything. We're just constructing everything pretty much from
Right,
scratch.
yeah.
We're just, we're just sort of taking existing assets and we're altering them. And so that's what's going on. It's not like,
Never
oh,
the special photos, never.
It's July. Maybe we should put out a video.
Yeah.
Before we have even put out Costa Concordia, we were already working on the next video.
Right,
We don't want the quality to go down. It sucks that they're not out more often. If I could be pulling out one a week, I would. I don't want the quality to go down.
But it's the JonTron effect, right? So, I know JonTron's been related to PR stuff, right, recently. I'm speaking specifically to the fact that John can upload a video anytime he damn well fucking pleases, and people are going to watch him. Like, not every content creator can do that. Do you think, like, someone like... If I stop streaming tomorrow, right, I'm not going to come back to 17 fucking legends in the chat. I mean, I definitely appreciate you guys being here. 100%. I'm not JonTron good. I'm not internet historian good. What the fuck? What? Vampires are weak to sunlight. Does the moon affect them? No, it does not, because the moon is, from my understanding, due to lore implications, different by that regard. Moonlight does not affect vampires. Yes, I mean, they may be diminished during a full moon, potentially. However, it's not in terms of how they function. Uses
like, I look at the latest videos and I think, and not just me, but, you know, like, as a team, we're quite proud of them.
Love it.
We could start going back to doing 5-minute videos, but honestly, I just don't think they're as interesting because you can't go as in-depth, so the structure will go very much like...
No, we're willing to wait for an historian
video. And then it went badly, the end. By the way, that video that we put out is actually not rendered at all. We couldn't make it render.
What?
We tried everything. We tried pulling all the files into a new project, tried on different computers, tried it on the server, tried it off the server, different formats, different codecs. We were troubleshooting, going piece by piece, finding anything that had an error code in it. Okay, yeah, this PNG, we'll replace that. And in the end, it was so impossible. What we had to resort to was, we took this preview render screen here, right? And then we just blew it up full screen.
God, I was wondering why some of the quality was a little grainy. Oh my god, that's some Kip level shit, like just breaking shit. Oh my god. Then
we
Halo's the best place for philosophical conversation.
And we just started screen recording the whole thing.
That's legendary.
So we would screen record the preview, and then
that is the, you know what? Close enough, we're gonna fucking do this. That is that mentality right there, and I respect it. Because, if it's not fucking working, right? And clearly you've done everything, sometimes you gotta say fuck it. According to Mike Burnfires and his fucking stories, the military does it all too fucking well, and I respect it.
And we just kept going until there was a dip in the frame rate, and then we stopped the recording, and then we started it again, and then re-recorded the next few minutes. We basically did that over and over and over the whole way through the timeline. And then we took those recordings, strung them all together like this, and then cut off the overlap.
That's one way to do
the
it.
Video. We still don't have a proper rendered version.
Oh my god.
Secret channel and channel update stuff.
It's like fucking Simon Whistler's North Korea video for Business Blaze that'll never ever come out. Well, different context on that one, but it's definitely a piece of lost media, I will say.
I've read a few comments, and I think people think that we just sort of sit on our hands, and then maybe a month before the video we start working. We've got all these videos on side channels coming out. It's like, why is he working on this and not on the main channel? And it's totally a fair question. I'd want to know. And the answer to that is, well, we're always working on a new main channel video. There's never really a period when we're not working on one. And then the side channels have been made in such a way that all I really need to do is a recording for them, and then do more of a producer role. So I'll come in and I'll critique the thing, and I'll go, that's not funny. That sucks.
I thought that was Simon Whistler for a second, and I just... What has this man done to me?
And maybe here's a reference that should go here, and no, that should look more like that, and help with some of the timing. Sometimes I'll come in at the last minute and do the final polishes on the edit. But that's about the extent of stuff I do for other channels. My main job is the main channel, and look, even if we shut all these other...
Look, all I'm saying is Business Blaze allegedly is one of my favorite channels to ever fucking exist, even though it's not called Business Blaze anymore, but he doesn't roam anymore, and it's stressing me out. Like, it's doing things to me. The fact that someone else knows what I'm talking about is great, because now I can vent that he's not roaming, and it's stressing me out. We also don't have near enough communism memes anymore. And fucking Peter, oh my god, Peter.
The one's down tomorrow. And said, okay guys, we're all working
the entirety
on
of chat now is just like, what is happening here?
Any faster or more frequently. So basically, you get the main channel when it's done. Second channel, done about one a month. So, you know, we should go on average, let's say, about 20 a year of those. There's 3 other channels.
Oh my God.
There's a live channel, which I...
Simon Whistler. We want to see you slap the scripts again. It's weird to not. It's weird. It's strange. We want the North Korea video. That's all I'm saying on the matter.
Haven't been paying any attention to for a while. There's story mode, which is just basically video games run through. It's found flicks of games, and I just do the VO for that. I come in, I haven't read the scripts in advance, and so it doesn't take pretty much any of my time. We just sit there for 30 minutes recording and basically interrupting each other. Me and another editor.
I really don't.
Doing the VO.
Factboy does not roam.
I don't do any editing for that. And then there's this other channel, which is just for a completely different audience altogether.
What is it?
This is probably not your thing. It's not
What the fuck you mean it's not my thing? Clearly there's history involved.
Entertainment. It's not funny. It's just like a reference index.
That's kind of neat,
And so
actually.
Historian runs that channel, and she just goes, here's a thing, and here's what it is.
I love it.
That's it. That's the
my
whole
God.
idea.
Spam.
And it's basically supposed to be an analog of Wikipedia. So instead of going and reading...
So, has anyone ever... Bucking Bronco, you might know this. Does anyone react to business blazes? Because I would do it, although I don't want to piss Simon Whistler off. Because my one caveat is if a creator asks that they don't want their content reacted to, or they don't want their or reposted, I want to respect that. Oh my God, like I would react to business blaze so fucking hard though.
Reading an article on Wikipedia, just go, type it into the YouTube search bar.
What is spam?
Or this channel, which is like how to pronounce banana in English. It's like, here you go, banana.
Banana.
If they find it and they go, this is...
No, that's not fucking correct, because Corone pronounces it banana.
Fucking not for me. And they don't subscribe, that is totally fine. A lot of this content is catered to a pretty different audience. Other than that, for now,
basics.
I don't have any
you're
other
in for a
channels,
treat,
but
though.
I'll let you know
It's not
as they
that.
come up. Eventually, we will have dozens of channels, and then I will franchise
fair,
them
yeah.
out, and it'll be like a McDonald's in every state. And then we'll own a ton of them in secret, and be like, oh fuck, is this one owned by IH? Is this one owned by IH? And then we will rule YouTube. And then we will take all of those winnings.
Amazing.
And we will put them into
RuneScape GP, goddammit.
CeeLo coin. And then we will buy a private island with the winnings.
It's gonna be crypto land.
And then I will drive a boat into...
Oh my God, no. Who slapped me? What do you mean? Was that... What do you mean? There was no ball
Buy
gag.
a private island with the winnings.
What do you mean?
And then I will drive a boat into...
There was no gag. What are you talking about? This was beautiful. This is absolutely nothing short of fucking masterful. And this is why we wait for historian videos. Because even though it's the Q&A on Incognito Mode, like, the video is just fucking legit. Oh my God. You know what? Fair. Fair and accurate. Cart to the... okay, I appreciate that. Did you not learn from spending that money on this? My God. Sometimes I miss 2020 just because people were just so off their fucking rocker. And sometimes I just don't. So, I mean, I'm just kind of, like, mixed at this point. So, before we wrap this up, chat has found me the shopping cart with full of thermoses. And that's kind of legit, though, actually. Because those things are fucking expensive. Oh, my God. I fucking love that. Oh, that was fucking beautiful. It's so good. RuneScape GP is more valuable. Yes, actually, that's why Venezuelan gold farmers exist, and that's actually why not only are there people trying to PK them because it does go against CS service, but there are also clans and groups anti-PKing the PKers so that Venezuelans can have a actual like thing that they can do and make money with. All just super fun rabbit hole things. I should put this in text. My God. Similar to Idaho. I mean, people will just like walk into fucking Wally World with an AR strapped to their back. Actual thing. In any event. So here's what we're going to do. If you're on the React channel, thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. If you're on the stream, I'm going to attempt to run this ad break, and then we're going to get into the next video. So be right back.